Hey there, I'm Chad Millman, co-host of the Favorites podcast with my BFF, my compadre, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. This is our YouTube exclusive video in which Simon and I will break down some plays and players looking at the All-22 for the NFL films to see how we think these plays and players might impact our thinking about certain teams as the season goes on, how we might want to bet on them, how we might want to bet against them. This week, Simon, you're going to kick it off with some Detroit Lions and Jared Goff.
Yeah, going with Jared Goff, a guy who we don't talk about as if he's a top 12, top 10 quarterback in this league. But clearly he is now, Chad. We need to start taking this guy more serious. And yeah, I wanted to start with him throwing picks. I know that's not the best way to start when you're talking about a guy being top 10, but these picks are so bad. You could just tell watching this back, he's rushing, he's throwing it to bad spots in the double coverage. You can just tell he didn't have it in this game a couple of days ago. Like he just clearly on that the Bears, whatever they were doing, they were hiding coverage. Look at that right there, like having the linebacker sink back into coverage after it looked like he was going to blitz. He just wasn't reading it, so he was rushed, throwing off his back foot, making bad reads. Terrible football for 3 quarters. And I just wanted to highlight it because we all know how the game ended, right? He came back and led the team to win. But these picks, when I watched it, I couldn't believe how bad he was. But then, yeah, you can roll the film here of him throwing the touchdown. It's crazy how it was all gone, right? I think they were down at this point, double digits, and he hung in there and he kept throwing, kept at it, didn't give up. And on this touchdown throw, we just talked about it. He had guys in his face. He was rushed. Here he's rushed. He has guys in his face, but he's making the right read where you can see he's throwing it to a guy who's not even open yet. When he's throwing that ball, he's still running the pattern. Now, it looks like he's wide open at the end result, but he's not. You can see it right before he throws it. He's got guys in his face, and he's making the read before he's even get there. So Goff in this offense, even when it's all going wrong, he's so confident in himself and this team right now in this offense. He's unfazed. Like he never gave up on that game and then winning that game. And, this play right here is just such a big-time throw in a big-time spot where it's like they needed a touchdown. They needed a fast score because there was less than 4 minutes left, and he did exactly that. Took a deep shot before the guy was even open, through double coverage, split them both, right in the perfect spot, right to the open receiver. And I'm just so excited for the Lions fans and what this team has been this year because they're just not the same old Lions. This is a new type of Lions team we're not used to seeing.
Yeah, what's interesting about the Lions is they traded for Jared Goff, and you kind of assumed he was just going to disappear into the ether, right? He was going to be a placeholder quarterback as the Lions continued to crater. They had a new coach with Dan Campbell, and they're going to basically tank to get whatever top draft pick they can get. And instead, when they've had opportunities to go get different players, they stuck with Jared Goff, an incredible job of scouting and seeing what he was really doing and not just looking at the raw numbers and deciding to stick with the guy and what he's done with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Huge Jared Goff fan, very impressed with how the Lions have built around him and what he's done. Don't forget, Simon and I doing a live show. You're all invited. We want you all to be there. Nothing could be more fun, more exciting for us than to be able to connect with everybody who listens to the show, get to bet with everybody who listens to the show. Come bet with us, come listen. December 3rd, you can RSVP by checking out the link in the description here on the YouTube page and in the podcast episode page. Go to eventbrite.com, search the Favorites podcast for more info to RSVP. The Shepherd and the Knucklehead, December 3rd, live show, Sunday night, 7:30 episode. Doors open at 4. Free entry, free drinks, RSVP. Simon, I am going to look at Rasul Douglas, the relatively new cornerback for the Buffalo Bills. They traded for him at the trade deadline on October 31st. Look, they needed help, and we've talked about this. That team took a turn when they lost Tre'Davious White playing against Miami early in the season, early in October, and then they lost Matt Milano the following week playing against Jacksonville in London. This team has been on a roller coaster ride since then. Hutton, we can play the tape here. So what do? At the trade deadline, they go out and get a new playmaker in the defensive backfield. And the reason I'm showing this play here, it's this play and another play, is one of the things that a cornerback for the Bills needs to be able to do. It's not just about coverage when you are in the AFC. You need to be able to step up and make a tackle, right? You're going to be in a lot of one-on-one scenarios, whether it's with Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, or you're defending receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs when you're defending receivers against the Cincinnati Bengals. These are the types of scenarios that the Bills have to be thinking about. And you can see the way Douglas handles himself both on the edge against a receiver, but also when I think we can go to the next play here, Hutton, when he is going one-on-one against, this is Justin Fields, who's scrambling up the middle. The only defense against Justin Fields here is Rasul Douglas stepping up and making a tackle. And that's what he does, right? So we can see it here. I think this is the one right here. He stays in front of him. He doesn't get juked. He maintains his position. Like, only one guy can make the tackle here, and it's Rasul Douglas, and he does it. It's one of the reasons why the Bills traded for him. So now, Hutton, if we want to speed ahead, we can go to the one of his first plays, one of his first picks with the Buffalo Bills this past week against the Jets. This is really why they get him, right? Right now, Rasul Douglas, if you look at PFF, he's third overall in coverage grades from PFF, third in overall as a cornerback, according to PFF. He had 2 picks and a fumble recovery against the Jets. And this is against their best player, Garrett Wilson. And the way he was able to stay in coverage, keep his pads level, get in front of the play, anticipate where the ball was going to go. Those are all the things that the Bills need in order to make a run for the playoffs. So this will be a really important game this weekend against the Eagles, right? Because the Jets, the Bills finally got healthy playing against the Jets. They got the win that they need after back and forth in a variety of games, losing to the Bengals, losing to the Broncos, barely beating the Giants, losing to the Patriots. The Bills have been very unlucky during this streak. So the question is, can Rasul Douglas be the kind of lockdown playmaker they've missed since Tre'Davious White's injury?
Yeah, and pretty incredible turnaround for this guy's career, where when he was drafted by the Eagles, they didn't know what to do with him. They didn't know how to play him at safety, play him at corner, and he kind of kept reinventing himself. Was a little bit of a journeyman. I know Green Bay basically picked him up for nothing, and they were able to turn him around for some picks. And it looks like he's just having that kind of year, right? Where it's like a guy finally puts all together. He knows what he's good at, what he's bad at. And, in that play right there, that pick he had, Zach Wilson staring that receiver down. If you look in the film, there are 2 guys streaking down the middle of the field open. So the Bills, they have a real test this week with the Eagles, and they're looking at not that the public loves them now and the pros love them, but this number's come down, right? It was 3.5. It's down to 3. So clearly people are drinking the Kool-Aid for this Bills team, that they are going to start bouncing back, that maybe they've gotten over these injuries on defense, and this is a great test for them. They're playing against an Eagles team that did not play well, had a huge emotional win in a big spot. So if they're going to win this game, the Bills, Douglas has to be the guy. He's going to have to either shut down AJ or Smith. He's going to need to take away one of those Eagles receivers, because the Eagles are hurt. Like, they don't have Goddard on offense. That's a big weapon. So I love you pick Douglas for this, because he will be the difference for this Bills defense going forward. They don't have playmakers right now. Like you said, he is a playmaker. So really exciting to see what they can do this weekend with this Bills defense.
Yeah, this is when we'll find out if the trade was worth it for the Bills. This is essentially, it's a trade to save their season, and we'll find out this weekend, because they still got the Chiefs, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins after the Eagles. So their schedule not going to get any easier. He is Simon Hunter. I'm Chad Millman. This has been the Favorites YouTube exclusive, The Film Room. Don't forget and listen to the podcast. We're 1:45 p.m. on Tuesdays. You can catch us live on YouTube, 11 a.m. on Thursdays, 7:30 p.m. on Sundays. Catch it all live here on the YouTube. Like, subscribe. Thank you very much.